Hey there folks, back at you with another video. Today we're going to pull the engine on this 2015 Toyota Prius. Already got started on a couple things. I got the hood off and the cowl. If you want to know how to do that, there is a ton of videos on that. The hood is pretty simple. That's just a couple bolts here and a connector, and then your windshield wiper fluid stuff right there. So but yeah, here we're gonna go step by step, and I'll show you how I do it. So please like and subscribe, helps the channel out a lot, don't cost nothing. Let's get past the intro and let's get into this. Alright, first things first, we're gonna disconnect the battery. So we're gonna show you how you do that. I'll flip that over, pull that out. There's only one way you can put that back in, and then the next thing will be the batteries right here. So you need to loosen that up and that right there. So I'm going to do that real quick and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so there you go. Disconnect it, and now we're going to go to the front and we're going to start draining the coolant. We'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so now we're under the car. Now we're getting ready to drain the coolant. We got to take this shield off right here. There's a couple bolts you got to take out, and then there's a pile of these little clipper doodles that's got to come off over here, this side right here, all the way around. Make sure you get them all out. So we're going to take that off first, and then we can get to the radiator drain that sits over there. So let's do that, and then we'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so we got the splash shield out of the way. Right there is our drain. You can see the yellow valve right there. So let's get the catch pan in place, and then we can undo that valve from here. I can't really get my camera up in there, but you can do that with some pliers. I've got a little socket for that. Looks like this. There we go. And now we're going to let her drain, and we'll bring it back. Here we go. Alright, so now we're back on top. I took the cap off the reservoir, so it will drain a little quicker. Now I'm going to take this airbox assembly off. A bolt right there, one right there, one right there, and then we'll undo this clamp right here. This sits back in there. That one right there, you can get to it from here, and then we'll undo the clip right here, and then we're gonna have to open it up, and then there's a couple more bolts on the inside of the box, but we'll get to that. Gotta undo your hose here, or you do it there, whichever. So we're gonna do that real quick, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, so get this off, take the filter out. You got these bolts done, and then you got two more right there and right there. So take that off, and then the rest of the plastic will come out. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, forgot to mention, there is a plug on the back side of that filter box, or you know, that hooks up to right here. Don't forget about that. So don't just yank on it, because you can tell it's pretty short. Next will be this clamp right here, this clamp right here, and then we want to start disconnecting the hoses and electrical connectors right here and right here. I want to take all that off down there for the AC compressor, for the water pump. You got some clipper doodles right here to hold that all in place, so we need to take that off. So then that way this wiring harness right here is coming out. And like I said, we want to take these hoses off right here, this one, all the ones that you can see. And let's get that done real quick and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so I got this wiring harness all done. This is the one clipper doodle I was talking about you need to pop loose. So there you go, these are the wires. Got these hoses all ready to go. And now we're going to start right here. There is a clip right here that you need to pry loose out of that little bracket. And then you got your injectors right here that need to be disconnected. There's 4 of those. These 2 right here, and then we're going to work our way up here. So let's do that real quick and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so we got the injectors disconnected. I did the coils as well. All this right here, this right here, this one, this right here, and then there's a bolt that sits right in there. Take that off, and then we're going to follow this down right here. We're going to pop that loose, and then we got a connector right there yet. Just follow this here up to that main wiring harness right here. You leave that be, but you know there's a clipper doodle here, clipper doodle there, and like I said, a connector right here, and then we're getting ready to move this harness out of the way. So here we go. So we got this all loose right here. That's ready to go. So now we need to follow this up, and then what you see right there, you need to push this lever over, and then you can pull up on it, and it will release itself out of the bracket. These right here are the exact same thing. So you got to pull that out. See that? Lift up on it, and then it comes right out. The same thing here. Oh, I'm sorry. Lift that up. Lift this up right here. And now we got to go follow this this wire here on the back side. So we got a clipper doodle here. Got another bracket right there on my finger. That is the same way as right here on top. And then you got to follow down, and you see right here on my finger there is one of the connectors, and then there is the crank sensor, and then the O2 sensor sits back here. So the O2 sensor wire that goes right there, that's hooked up. So we gotta disconnect that, and then when we get that done, we'll bring it back. Here we go. Alright, so now we got the wiring all loose, as you can tell. So these are the 3 plugs on the back side of the engine. This one here is for the O2. That's for the crank sensor, and then the other one here, that's for the oil pressure sensor. So now we can grab this entire harness like that and just basically lay it over like this. Oh, we got one more clip right here. Give it 1 second. There we go. So now we can pull this whole thing and lay it over off to the side. If you want to grab a bungee cord to hold it that way, you can do that. But like this right here should be good to go. And now we got more room to get up in there too. So there we go. All right. Next thing we need to do is disconnect the fuel, and then some more hoses here. So we got one here. We got this one right here. And then yeah, and then the big radiator hose over here, and we need to get this one here disconnected. That's the big pipe, big radiator hose right here at my finger. I don't know, give me 1 second here. Can you see it now? It's right there. That's the one. And then there is a bolt right there at the end of my fingertip, right there. And then there's another one right under here. You got to follow this hose, and it sits right underneath this pipe. You got to take both of those bolts out in order to flip the tube out of the way, in order to get it disconnected from this stretch of hose right here that sits right here. So let's get that done and we'll bring it back. Here we go. Alright, so I got this loose right here. These are the 2 bolts, and then I use the ratchet to come through here and go through there, right there, to get in there. That is the 1 bolt. And then I use my little impact right here with a good size extension, and then a swivel impact, and then you can get in from there. And then I use a pry bar, and ever so gently use this this side piece here as leverage and trying to break that loose. And then make sure you get you know, take the pressure off that clip, that clamp there, and then just have that pry bar help shove the hose off the pipe, or the pipe off the hose. And now it's loose. You're gonna have to jiggle it a little bit, you're gonna have to twist a little bit, but like I said, by removing those 2 bolts, this pipe comes, you know, loose and easy to maneuver. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this intake off. Some people don't do that. I do, because that creates more room here when we're going to start pulling the engine out, because otherwise you have a chance that the exhaust manifold is going to hit your window. And that's why I got the pull noodle here, is to protect the glass, because the last thing you want to do is crack it. And like I said, and if you take the intake off, that just makes life 10 times easier. It gives you a ton of extra room at the right time where you need that room. So there's only 5 bolts. So there's 1 here, 1 right there, there, and there. Those are 12 mils. Pop that off, and then the intake should come right off. So I'm going to do that real quick, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so I got those bolts loose. You got your you got 2 bolts right here. Those are 10 mils. There's 1 on the bottom and 1 right there, and then we got 1 more hose to disconnect. It's right there, and then this whole intake comes off. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. Alright, so make sure your hoses are loose. And now let's see if I can do this with 1 hand, and this thing should come right out. Oh, we're catching right there at that hose. There you go. Look at that. That's the intake. And then before we reinstall that intake, make sure you check the gaskets on that intake, make sure they're clean. Like I said, now you got a ton more room here to operate and to get this engine out, because like I said, as soon as you come up, because this glass comes, you know, comes forward so much, as soon as you come up, you got to bring this engine forward, and with that intake out of the way, you'll have a ton more room. You know, it may take a little extra work, but you know what, I feel like it's better or easier. So anyway, so now we can easily get to this. We're going to remove the electric water pump, and then we're going to disconnect the AC compressor without having to drain the system. So we're going to do that real quick, and then we'll bring you back. Here we go. Alright, so I got that hose out of the way. I shoved it right up in here in this corner. I'm going to have to you don't necessarily have to, but I'm just going to disconnect it right here for the AC compressor, because that wire goes all the way up in here. And then right there where the ratchet is sitting, you got 1 bolt, you got another bolt right there, and then you got 1 right here on the top. So take that off, and then you can just let the the AC compressor hang there. So I'm going to disconnect that. There is a green safety clip in at this disconnect at this connector right here. You got to push that back first and then disconnect it. So going to get that done real quick, and we'll bring it back. Here we go. All right. So AC compressor is just dangling now. I'm going to get the water pump off. There is, I believe it's 5 bolts, 2 on this side right here, 2 over here, and then 1 underneath. I mean, it's way underneath there. It's kind of tight to get to it, but you can get to it. So that's the electric water pump. We're going to take that off to create a little bit more room, because we want to make sure we clear the clutch from the bell housing. And this here is kind of tight, because this piece here is sticking out. So I'm just going to take it off, and we're going to take that water pump out, and then we'll bring it back. Here we go. All right, so here's the water pump. These two hole bolts right here, those are the longer ones, and then the others, because the pump sits like this, the other ones are the shorter ones. So there's 5 there altogether. Now we got a little bit more room, so we're going to put this up, the bolts up, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to take this bracket off right here, because that sits on the engine. I'm going to take that bracket off, double check, make sure all our hoses are disconnected, as you can tell. So this one here, this one on top, there's one that goes up against the firewall there. I take that off because that is way up in there. It's really hard, and if you grab the bottom one here, you just lay this hose up out of the way like that, together with the fuel line, some of your other lines right here, and then yeah, so we're getting ready now to do the bell housing bolts and the engine mount here on the passenger side. So here we go. We'll be right back. All right, so got this bracket loose. I put the bolt back in place. Now we're going to start on this right here. Just a couple bolts right here, 2 bolts. This one here, this hose here needs to come off, and then that one there, and then you can just lift the whole tank out of the way. So we'll get that done real quick. We'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, so now we're back under the car. So we got 2 bolts right there. Here's one with a spring, and here's another one with a spring. We need to get those 2 loose. That will free the exhaust manifold from the pipe here, and that's all you got to do for the exhaust. And then we got some bell housing bolts right here. There's one right there, one right there, one right there. There used to be one right here, but it broke. One right here, and then these 2 right here behind that cover plate, or that hold that cover plate in place. So this one and this one, and then there's 2 left on top that we gotta attend to, but we do that on top. So we'll get this done here real quick, and we'll bring it back. Here we go. All right, by the way, that's how it looks like with the tank removed. Now we need to get to the 2 bell housing bolts here on top. The one sits right here, and it's not easy to see right there. Can you see that? Right here at the end of my finger, this finger right here, it sits right down from there, right there. There's that bolt, and then there's one that sits way back here. It's really hard to get to, and the only way you can get to it is with a 14 mil wrench, ratcheting wrench. It's a little tight. If you got a lift, you can come from the bottom and then reach up top. If you don't have a lift, then you got to come from here. But like I say, you got to reach all the way up in here and get it done that way. So I'll get those 2 bolts removed, and then we'll bring it back. Here we go. All right, so now we got all the bell housing bolts removed. Now we're going to start right here. We're going to take these brackets off. So you got a bolt here, one right there, and then another one right there. Those are the little bracketry that keep these lines in place. So we're going to take that off, and then we'll bring it back. Here we go. All right, next we're getting ready to take the engine mount out. There is a stud that looks just like this right underneath here. If you feel there, you can feel this pointy. I think it was a 15 mil that takes that, or a 14. So we're going to have to take that off by hand, do that first, and then we're going to start start on the rest. But before we do loosen any of these up, we need to block the engine up. But like I said, that's the first one we're going to take off right now, and then we'll bring it back. Here we go. Alright, so here's the nut. Now we're going to have to undo this ground cable here. We got to unpop it there. Oh, there it went. So we can lay this off to the side now, so it's out of the way. And we're going to loosen. We're not going to take them off. We're just going to loosen them up a little bit. Okay, these two bolts right here. We're going to do that first, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, so we got this one loose. Give it like a 1/2 inch or something like that. Now you can see the engine is going to drop a little bit. See that? Okay. Now we're going to use a floor jack or a block or whatever. I'm going to use a block because I'm using the lift to raise and lower the car. But if you don't have a lift, just use an engine jack or a floor jack. Sorry. And then lift up on the bottom of the engine at the oil pan. Just be careful you don't crush it. And because you loosen these up, you'll see whenever you start carrying the weight of the engine, because you know these bolts will come loose again. So we're going to get that done real quick, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, so because we loosened it up, now I know I got enough pressure on there that the engine is holding up. Like I said, I use blocks because I'm using the lift to move the vehicle up and down. If you don't have a lift, you can just use a floor jack. But like I said, now because like I said, we loosened them up, we know now that the engine is being carried. So now we can take these loose right here, and then this one right here, and the other one right there, that one. So we're gonna do that real quick, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right, so we'll get this all out of the way now, and there's two more things left to do. There is a bracket right here that holds this plastic wiring harness cover in place, and there's a bolt right there at the end of my fingertip that holds that bracket up against the engine. So we need to take that off. And then there's a plug that's really hard to see right there at the end of my fingertip. There's a plug there that we need to unplug. So we're going to get that done, and then we're getting ready to pull this engine out. So there we go. All right, got the engine hoist in place now. I just hooked it right there and hooked the other chain right there into that bracket there, and then I just ran it over like that. Put a little bit, lift it up, take the your floor jack out or your blocks, lift it up a little bit, let it drop down, lift it up again till you find a good spot, the sweet spot, and then you can set a pry bar right up in there. Just start working it and be gentle. Saying we're starting to have a gap right here. So now you're just going to have to start working that engine a little bit, twist it, turn it, jiggle it, whatever it is you have to do. You need to get it out that way, and then we can lift it up. So, but I'm going to get it free first, and we'll bring it right back. Here we go. All right. So we got her all free now, as you can tell. So you're just happy to dangle. So we got her right up against the frame rail here. That there looks all free. So now we're just going to have to lift her out. We're going to have to roll her back, lift her out, And then while I'm almost there, when I'm almost there, I'll bring it back. So here we go. Alright, so we're getting really close. Now you can see why I took the intake off, because you know this here is going to get really close, and by taking that air intake off, it gives me just a lot more room without having to worry about damaging the glass. That's why I used the pool noodle here. It's just to protect it. So now we're just gonna make sure we clear everything. And then double check and make sure we're not hitting anything, that everything is disconnected. Just, you know, take your time. This is, you know, look at that. So we're gonna miss the glass. I'm gonna go up a little bit more and then we'll pull her back. There we go. Look at that. See, now you can tell. That's why I have that pool noodle there. It's just to be careful. I'm gonna roll this sucker back a little bit. There's that. Make sure everything is honky-dory. Oh yeah, we're in good shape now. There you go. Got her out, and now we're getting ready to move some parts over and whatnot, and then we're going to drop the other one in. Here's the other one from the junkyard. I still got a pile of work to do on that, taking all the extra stuff off and whatnot, but that's just part of the game, I suppose. But yeah, so there you go. That's how you pull the engine out of a Prius. So please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot, don't cost nothing. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.